In a joyous and peaceful kingdom, people gather to witness one of the most majestic moments. Marie, dressed in a wedding gown, walks up the stairs toward Kiros. They are about to be married, but truthfully, Marie was never meant to be the bride. It was supposed to be her older sister. Baron Sheridan has two daughters. The eldest, Anastasia, is cheerful, sociable, and golden-haired. She looks like a princess. In contrast, Marie, the younger daughter, is nothing like her sister. She is tall, often dirty, and acts more like a boy. She spends her days reading books and serving her family like a maid. Each morning, Marie wakes up in a small, dim hut where she lives alone. It's a place far from suitable for a lady. Because their family is poor, there's always work to be done. Marie can only afford a quick bath at the well near her hut before heading to the family's house to cook for them. After cooking and preparing the meals, her parents, along with Anastasia and their youngest brother Cedric, sit together at the well-lit dining table to eat their food. She, however, is left to eat the scraps alone in the dark, dirty kitchen, treated like an outcast in her own family. Even her father's work is passed on to her. At night, Marie balances the family's accounts and signs documents in his name, relying only on a dim lamp for light as the night grows dark. When she finally finishes, she takes a bath at the well and glances up the night sky. Tomorrow is her birthday, and all she wishes for is a good day. The following day, the Sheridan family hosts a grand banquet at their home. Nobles and royals fill the hall, and music plays with celebration. Anastasia looks stunning in her elegant gown, and Cedric compliments her beauty. Marie, standing off to the side in a plain, long dress and her unkempt hair, can only watch in silence. Suddenly, their father stands up to speak. He thanks everyone for coming and announces that Anastasia is the star of the night. At that moment, Marie looks down. Of course, this isn't a birthday celebration for her. It's a debut party meant to find Anastasia a suitor. Upset, Marie runs out of the hall, drawing everyone's attention. She walks quickly through the corridors until she reaches the garden. Sitting by the pond, she stares at her reflection in the water, feeling miserable for being born with such an unattractive face. Suddenly, a man's voice breaks the silence as he asks for directions. Marie quickly points toward the entrance. He mistakes her for a maid, but the maid accompanying him corrects him, saying the Sheridan family only employs one servant, a woman in her 60s. Realizing Marie must be one of the two daughters, the man politely asks for her forgiveness. Marie, noticing his attire, immediately recognizes he is from the Ipsandra's Republic. She even comments on the traditional formal wear he's wearing, surprising the man with her knowledge. Marie's knowledge of Ipsandrian traditions surprises him. It's rare for anyone outside his country to study their culture. But Marie insists that once someone explores Ipsandrian technology and culture, it's easy to become fascinated. Karas becomes even more intrigued and shares additional details about his formal clothing. Marie joins in, mentioning the tale of the Red Raggedy Cat, a famous story from Ipsandrian folklore. Their conversation flows naturally until Marie recalls her father's warning. A woman who flaunts her knowledge is shameful, so she lowers her head and apologizes for her behavior. Karas, however, doesn't understand why she's apologizing. Marie wants to explain, but before she can, she panics and tries to run. Karas gently grabs her hand to stop her, and when their eyes meet, Marie freezes. His face is flawless, and it hurts to know she could never match someone like him. Tears well up in her eyes. Karas apologizes again for mistaking her for a servant, but he can't stop thinking about her clothes. Something feels off. There must be a reason why someone like her is dressed like that. Marie simply says she is not lovely. That's why she wears such plain clothes. But before she can leave, Karas gently pulls her closer and tells her she's beautiful. As a response, she tells him where to find her sister, then quickly walks away in tears. She runs through the woods until she reaches her small house. There she finally breaks down. Even after hearing such kind words from someone like Karas, the sadness doesn't leave her. 1 month later, a letter of proposal arrives for Anastasia. It is from Count Granado, a nobleman expected to become a duke. Wealthy and well-connected, he seems like the perfect match in their father's eyes. Delighted, their father immediately tells Marie to write a formal reply and inform all relatives and nearby nobles of the engagement. In private, Anastasia confides in Marie about her unease. She's about to marry a man whose face she doesn't even remember. Worse, rumors claim Count Granado dislikes women. Marie, trying to stay positive, remarks that the letter at least sounded passionate. The mood lightens when they talk about clothes. Anastasia loves designing suits for women, and since Marie is tall, the outfits fit her well. She pulls a suit from her cabinet and makes Marie promise to keep it secret. Their parents once threw them all away after discovering her unusual interest. Marie is stunned to learn about her sister's hidden passion. If their family ever falls into poverty, she'll start a clothing business in the royal capital. She encourages Marie to do the same, nurture her talents, follow her dreams, and live for herself. Marie loves her sister deeply, and Anastasia loves her just as much. But Anastasia unexpectedly dies in a tragic accident on her way to meet Count Granado. All Marie can do now is hold onto the lessons her sister left behind. She remembers how Anastasia once written her the story of the Red Raggedy Cat, and the memory brings tears to her eyes. The book slips from her hands as a sharp slap lands on her cheek. Her mother strikes her, sending her crashing to the floor. In rage, her mother blames Marie for Anastasia's death, shouting that it should have been her instead. She lashes out uncontrollably until their father arrives. He pulls her away, not to protect Marie, but to prevent any bruises from appearing on her face. Her father wants to send Marie to Count Granado for marriage in place of Anastasia. Though she is not as attractive, the family no longer has the resources, having sold off everything for the betrothal. Her father convinces her that this is the only way she can atone, but it does not make sense. She has committed no crime, yet somehow, simply by being born, she already feels like a mistake. Marie and her father travel together to see the Count, and while in the carriage, her father reminds her of everything she needs to do, insulting her from time to time. Marie simply agrees to everything he says. She tries to fake a smile, but even that gets mocked by her own father. Upon arriving at the castle, the guard refuses to let them in despite the letter they had sent. A maid steps in, explaining that the letter only arrived that morning, putting them in a difficult situation. Gregor, Marie's father, loses his temper and is about to attack the maid, but she is well equipped, pinning him to the ground in an instant and ordering him to leave. Just then, Marie steps out of the carriage, seeing the situation unfold. She asks for their forgiveness, and as she lowers her head, the veil covering her face slips off. The maid immediately recognizes her as Lady Marie and instructs Thomas, the guard, to send a message to the Count. Introducing herself as Mio, the maid leads Marie inside. Upon hearing that Anastasia's younger sister has been sent in her place, the Count becomes furious and initially demands Marie be turned away. But the moment he sees her face and recognizes her, his demeanor shifts. Marie is stunned to realize that the man she met at the banquet is actually Count Carlos Granado. Kiros, equally speechless, takes a long look at her. Gregor steps forward to explain Anastasia's death. Though Kiros appears saddened, his attention now lingers on Marie. As Gregor tries to speak ill of her, Kiros gives him a cold, warning glance. With a new calmness, he declares that Marie will stay at the palace for the night. Without delay, Mio prepares a room for her. Marie is left alone to enjoy a meal, with Mio attending to her. Curious about her father's whereabouts, she's informed that he is currently in a meeting with Kiros. As they chat, Mio prepares tea, which Marie quickly recognizes as a traditional blend from Ipsandros. She even names the correct spices, impressing Mio with her knowledge. One sip and Marie is immediately taken aback by the depth of its flavor, leaving Mio overwhelmed by her genuine appreciation. Their quiet conversation is soon interrupted when Kiros knocks at the door. Marie rushes to him, quickly bowing to apologize for her father's earlier conduct. When she asked about him, Kiros explains that her father has already departed, taking the betrothal gifts with him, to offer them at Anastasia's grave. Marie prepares to excuse herself, but Kiros stops her. He gently asks if she is being mistreated at home. The question stuns Marie. Though her parents never showed her affection, she doesn't see it as abuse. In her eyes, their harshness is simply training. Because she is a know-nothing, they want her to learn how to survive. However, her explanation does not make sense to Kiros. Thinking back to the banquet, he recalls that she was wearing clothing typically reserved for widows or nuns, on her birthday, no less. To him, this further confirms his suspicion that Marie is being mistreated. She never intended to become a nun, nor was she trying to push men away. When Kiros asks if she is unhappy with her family, Marie cannot respond. It's true that the life she's living is far from what she wants, but she has never considered escaping. She simply believes she is not lovely enough to deserve better. With that, Kiros gives Mio a command to take Marie away. Marie assumes this means she's being dismissed because of her appearance. But to her surprise, Mio greets her warmly, already prepared with a bath and fresh clothes. She escorts Marie to the bathhouse, where a large private tub awaits her. Marie is stunned, wondering how much work it takes to maintain such a luxurious space. She assumes she's been brought there to clean, but instead, Trunica, the bath's caretaker, arrives to pamper her. Mio informs Marie of Trunica's expertise in bathing rituals, and before she even realizes it, Trunica has already stripped her of her clothes. Mio even adds that if Trunica displeases her, she's free to slap her. Marie proceeds with the bath, submerging herself in warm water filled with flower petals while Trunica carefully tends to her hair. Trunica confidently assures that she will have Marie sparkling clean in no time, as if she's being reborn. Before long, Marie dozes off in the comfort of the bath. That night, once the beautification process is complete, Kiros waits for Marie to appear. When she finally steps out, she is nearly unrecognizable. As she walks down the grand staircase toward him, Kiros can't take his eyes off her transformation. Even Marie, catching a glimpse of her reflection, can hardly believe the woman in the mirror is her. Kiros freezes for a moment before calling out to Liu Liu, his mother. She steps forward and examines Marie carefully from head to toe. As the head of the family, Lulu's approval is crucial for the betrothal to proceed. The engagement depends heavily on her decision. After a meticulous inspection, Lulu comments that something is lacking. Kairos is ready to defend Marie when Lulu finishes her thought. What Marie lacks is self-confidence. If she wishes to become the wife of a duke, she must learn to carry herself with pride and nobility. But Lulu adds she can at least begin practicing before the wedding. Hearing this, Kairos is visibly relieved and overjoyed. Mio also congratulates Marie, who remains confused. Only then does she learn that Lulu's approval means the engagement is now official. Cheers fill the room as everyone celebrates their engagement. Lulu expresses excitement for the upcoming wedding. Marie still stands frozen in place. Then finally, unable to hold it in any longer, Marie lets out a loud scream. She can't do it.